So in class today, so far we've done this chart with fractions, and I'm going to call on you and ask you to explain how to get the money part. And I know it's a little blurry, so the top of this gold bar is 300. The top of this gold bar is 450. The top of this gold bar is 150. And the goal for the teachers is right where that yellow line is, and that's 360. So Alice, you're going to explain the process of figuring out, and this is part A, the 6th grade money raised. How do you do that?
Well, you look at the whole fraction bar.
Right.
If the goal is 300 and 560 was shaved in, you have to divide 300, I think, by...
Close. So I'm going to just say it a little louder. She said, look at the goal at the top, and it's 300. And so you're going to take that 300. So the goal for the 6th graders was $300. So that part is correct. You look at that first. And then the next thing you need to look at, I agree with, is 5/6. And so you have to take your whole bar. And how many parts is the whole bar, Alice? You have to take your bar, because you want to divide it into 6 parts, because that's what your goal is divided into. So you're going to divide that into 6 parts. So you take the goal, and I had some spelling challenges there. Let's try again. You're going to take the goal, which was the 300, and you're going to divide it by the parts below the goal, And so you need all 6 parts, and when you do that, you're going to get $50. What's that $50 represent, Marcus? No, because the goal's way up here. So where on the bar is the 50? If the top is the 300, where on the bar is the 50? Yes. Yeah. He's showing me with his hands each chunk. So this is $50. So Andrew, count up for me then. What's this? $100. So I'm counting by 50s now, right? So you add another 100 and you get, you're going to add another 50. Each time you're going to add 50. Oh, I did. So add 50 and you get 150, and that gives you this amount. And then you add that other 50 to 200. And you should be able to check your work. If you add another 50, you'll get 250, and add another 50, and we get to 300. So what we've done is we figured out that the first amount is 50, and then we either count up or we can multiply, because we know there's 5 sections that are shaded. So the 6th graders have raised $250. So what I want you guys to do is that same process for the middle bar, and if you're really comfortable with that, you're going to do the 3rd bar. So some of you are going to do the 3rd bar, and some of you aren't. And then if you've got that, try that process for the 4th bar. And then we'll do about 5 minutes. 2nd bar is pretty straightforward, I bet, for a lot of you. So, Bridget, if the 2nd bar is the 7th grade goal, we're going to repeat the process for 7th graders. What's their goal, their total goal?
$450.
Okay. And then you have to take that $450, Bridget, and divide it into how many parts?
3.
Good. And when you do that, you should have gotten 150.
Yeah.
So that makes this 150. And this would be what, Bridget, right here?
That would be 300.
Good. So the next one's harder. We're gonna do the next one together. Andrew, what is the goal for the teachers?
Well, for teachers is 360.
360? So, oh, I'm sorry, not the teachers. Well, we could do the teachers first. So now we're actually doing the last bar. That's one over here. How many parts, Lennon, should I break the teachers into? Because I'm looking at the goal and I'm dividing it, the goal, everything below the goal. That's my parts. How many parts would you divide the teachers by? You always look at the goal. So how many parts do you see up to the goal line? Right. So you have to take the 360 and divide it into 4 parts because we don't want to talk about over the goal. We can add that on later. So, Cameron, what's 360 divided by 4? How about 36 divided by 4?
90.
Yeah. 360 divided by 4 is 90. So this is $90 here. So, if I count up by 90s, Rachel, what's this?
150.
Good. And then add another 90 to get right here for me, Lola. So you can do that right here. So we were at 180, right? Oops. Add another 90. What do you have? 8 and 9 make?
It's 270.
Right. 270. 270 here. And then if you add another 90, you get up to 360. So the question that I want to know is, Ellis, what did the teachers raise? If they were at 360 right here, how much more did they raise? How much was each little jump? So altogether they had 360 and plus what? 90, and so that's 450 for the teacher goal. Right there. Okay? So, because the middle one is, this one's important, but it's not quite as important as part B. So we're just going to look at part B, and we'll go back to the middle one tomorrow. Okay? But I will tell you, if you want to see if you got your answer right, Andrew, what did you get? I'll tell you if we can compare. What did you get there? That's correct answer. So for those of you that got there, it's $112.50. If you didn't, that's okay. So part B, I have written out a little bit different than the book. And guess what? If you can't write this all down, you can get it on the website because I'll post it. It's really the thinking I want you to follow. Okay? So they say in part B in your book that Margarita figured out that 2/3 of the 7th grade goal was $300. But they do not say in your book that she used a ratio table. But I'm asking you to figure out how to use a ratio table to show that this is true, imagining that over here you didn't have the picture to look at. The picture is surely a nice tool and we don't want to always ignore it, but you want to also be able to do this without a picture. So I'm going to demonstrate the first one, okay? You want to help me?
Well, I'm just going to ask this. So, is that a homework or?
It's kind of like your homework.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate this idea. We know from the reading that the 7th graders made 2/3 of their goal. And I bet that, Lennon, you can tell me what the 7th grade goal was, because I can't remember. What was that? 450. So I want to get the denominator to be 450. If I can do that, I can figure out what the 7th grade goal is. So Reed, can you multiply that for me by 3? I'll show you how I'm doing this.
So 3 times 3.
Yep. 9. And 2 times 3 is 6. And then can you continue and do that by 10?
That's
90 and 60. And did you guys, you know your math facts, 9 times 5 is 45?
Yeah.
So, Benny, if I multiply this by 5, instead of getting 45, what do I get? Yeah, so 90 times 5, it gets to the goal. And if I multiply 5 up here, what do I get? 300. Okay, so according to this, I didn't look at the picture. I just talked to you guys. The 7th graders must have raised $300. Is that what we figured out? Right here. We figured it out with the ratio table. You don't always have to have a complicated picture to do this. So we're going to repeat the process. You're going to help me, Lauren. Put the shade back. Use the ratio table method to show how much the 6th graders had raised by the end of day 10. What fraction had they raised by the end of day 10, Lauren?
5, 6.
Okay, so the whole is 6, the part is 5. And what was their actual goal? 300. Ah. So I'm going to try to, hey, my board's not cooperating. I'm going to try to get a 300 down here. Help me do that. How about get 6 to 30? Times by 5, and you would get 30 and what on the top? 25. And then times 30 by what? To get to 300? 10. Okay, so if I have 300 on the bottom, what do I have on the top? 250. So it looks to me like the 6th graders must have raised $250. Did that work out?
I guess so.
Do you get what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Joe, you want to try the last one? Ratio table method, you can do it to show how much the teachers had raised by the end of day 10. So they were 5/4 of their goal, right? Okay, so we're going to put the shade here. 5/4 of the goal. What was their goal, Joe?
Their goal was 360.
Right, so I have to get the bottom number to be 360. How about get it to be 36 by multiplying by 9?
Sure.
What's 5 times 9?
5 times 9, 45.
Right. So how do I get this to 360, Joe?
You get it to 360 by multiplying by 10.
Right. And so what's the top number then?
450.
450.
Bobby.
So that's how much the teachers raised. So when we look at the chart, it matches. So your job tonight is to be able to use a ratio table and or a picture to make these projections. But I don't